Hello, everybody. I'm George Gonzalez. I'm obsessed with making games. I love it. And today we're going to talk about leveling up. This is for level two. Developers that are level two have gone through a lot of game jams, prototyping. You master your skills, you're confident in your skills. Now you want to actually finish games and you have the ability to do so. But there's certain things that will happen in your development career that you will need to master. For example, the one we're going to talk about is reducing scope and how to actually prep yourself for success in multiple ways. So this one principle that we'll talk about today, it will help you. And at the end of the video, we'll talk about exactly how it does help you with every aspect of your game development. But let's talk about from a producer standpoint. Okay, so you are thinking very logical right now. Okay, you have to get things done. You want to finish. And we're not talking about art. We're not talking about marketing, pleasing the audience. The main thing is you just want to get it done. Because if you can finish it, you can make it better. The problem is that a lot of developers quit and start over. And so we're going to talk about that right now. This graph kind of displays the curve for when making games. And I cheated, and I got this from Hormozis. Alex and Leila talk about this all the time, and other people do too. And the main thing is like this is for all businesses in general. But I want to really apply it to game development. At the beginning, when you start out, everything is exciting, right? You're just starting out. You're either learning new things or you already know them. But it's what you want to do. You obviously chose to do this because you love it or you think it's fun, and so it'll be exciting, fun at the beginning. You're prototyping, maybe even, and depending on how long, this could be a year into it. It could be 6 months or it could be 3 weeks. But you're prototyping, it's all fun and it's actually working. Then it comes the time where you actually have to get things done. And so there's things that you might not like to do, things that have to get done in order for you to get to the finish line. So what happens is things don't get fun, they go downhill. You're just tired of doing this. Maybe after you're burnt out, you feel like you need a vacation, you come back and it still doesn't feel fun. And you procrastinate, you do a bunch of things, and you end up deciding, well, should I go back and start over? Right? And then you want to start another project, or you feel like maybe you overscoped, or you took a year to do something you thought it would take you 3 months. You at 3 months, you're like, oh, I just need 3 more months and I'm done. And then a year later, you're not even done. And so a lot of times, for multiple reasons, you will get there. At some point in there, something won't be fun, something's not working the way you thought, it will happen. And at that point, either quit, start over, or actually stick to it and finish. And what happens is oftentimes for other reasons, you might come here and you finish, but then it doesn't go so well, right? And so there's another curve, and that's like part of the business curve, which is like overall, this is like a little bump in the hill. And then you have game dev as a business. This is just for your game, what we're talking about. So this is just your game, okay? So we're trying to fix this little part here for your game, not your entire business, right? Not your entire game dev career, your game. Because if you can figure out how to finish your games, then you'll be able to adjust your business and pivot as a game developer and change career path within game dev, or find a job and have someone else pay you what you learn, or things like that. How do we fix this? And so I have this idea for game developers specifically, that this is like a side view of um, how it goes. But there's also a top-down view of how things run, and that's what I want to talk about today. Is how to adjust so that no matter where you're at in here, whether you're going up or down, or left or right, you can keep moving forward. And so whether on hard days, long days, short days, whatever it is, you don't have as much time to work on your game. You're in solo dev. You might be working as a hobby, or like after coming back home from work. You have a family, you have responsibilities. Whatever it is that you're doing, you have to be able to manage your time right, like a producer. But it's easier said than done. And so I'm going to share one tip that will fix all that. And I'll promise you that if you do this, you will succeed. And then I'm going to show you how I would do it and how I'm going to do it this month, and start now. And I'll show you that it will work. So first, let's talk about what it is. The main thing is to cut down things, especially if you're solo dev, to one task and one task only, nothing else. So let's grab this pen, and let's say in here, there's a task to get done, right? And while you're having fun prototyping, let's say you set up a plan to say, the rule is I'm going to focus on one task. I don't care about this. I don't care if it's fun. I don't care if it's good or bad, whatever. right? Focus on one task. Let's say you do this at the start. This is very important because I want it to be at the start because that's when you're having fun, remember? And while you're in this scenario, you are trying to build a habit to focus on one task at a time. And if you have 5 people working, then it's 5 tasks. Okay. You finish that task and then you think about the next task. And that's it. You still can have a backlog of stuff you're gonna want to do throughout the week. Okay. Yeah, maybe you have 5, 10, 50 things you can do. You're gonna realize that when you do this, you'll be able to do more every week. And some things you might not even have to do. Okay. So oftentimes devs say, oh, like I need to get all these stuff done. Like I need to put audio, art, blah, blah, blah. And then like they try to get as fast as they can to the finish line, right? Like they want to get here fast. And so they think that by adding art early, because you're eventually going to have to add art. So might as well add it at the beginning. No, don't do that. Okay. Focus on one task. Okay. And there's a lot of pitfalls, but focus on one task. And what should that task be? It should be the most important thing. Okay. If you were to release your game tomorrow, what is the one thing you can't live without? Like, well, the game needs to be playable. The player needs to physically play or else there's nothing. So what's the player character going to be? The movement. Okay. Even if you have a game that only you can move around, you can publish that and it's something, right? Like just think that. And then when you're done with that task, you're like, okay, now what? Well, the player needs something to do. Where do we go? Or what's the objective? You don't have to tell a story. You don't have to have NPCs. You don't have to have audio. You just say, what is the goal? What am I trying to make? And yes, you have a minimum viable product, but even more so than that, it's like, what is the one thing in that minimum viable product that's the most important right now? Like, if the game doesn't ship with this, it doesn't ship. And you only can pick one. Okay, out of all of the things that you want to do, one. If you figure out how to do that when it's fun, right here, you're gonna build a habit and you're gonna have consistency. You're gonna be like, okay, I got the groove. It's fun, and you're gonna get things done. When it's not fun, guess what? You're still gonna do the same thing. Yes, like if you look at the top down, it might be slower at sometimes. Sometimes it might be faster. You might do like 50 iterations right here. You're getting a bunch of things done. It doesn't matter which way. The direction means like, I don't know, right, left, right, left. You're taking turns updating the game. I don't know. But the main idea is that you are making choices, right? Small choices, one by one. And because you're doing this, it doesn't matter. Like, let's say it does take like this long to make one decision. You're focusing on one thing, and that's okay. Like, there's no burnout. You're not like, it's not hitting critical mass, whatever. Like, let's say there's a bug that you're trying to figure out, and you spend a week on one bug. It's okay. Like, you are physically moving in that direction, right? And you'll get better at it. And then maybe next time you'll not do that, and it'll take shorter. But the idea is that you're moving forward, and you focus on the one thing. Okay, because when you focus on the one task, first of all, it's getting all your attention. So you'll probably finish it earlier. I had this happen, for example, a few days ago. So what happens in multiplayer games, it gets pretty crazy because people are adding things all the time, and it, even when you think that what you're adding doesn't affect, it does. Like it always does. And so what happens is we add code for this, we add code for that, or respawning, and then it messes up the code for something else like voice chat or something. And it's a pain to debug. But you know what I did? It was like, okay, like let's focus. I have one task that I'm going to focus on. Even if it takes me 4 hours, I need to know what it is. Like, I can't just guess. I can't just like, oh yeah, this is where it is, and just change things assuming. I have to be like, I'm going to get to the bottom. I'm going to figure out exactly why this is happening and when. Like, replicate it and do it. And so I would make a build. I would put in my headset. I would play in the editor, and I would walk through the scenarios. Okay, I do this, and then I would just step through it little by little. Okay, if this player comes in, this player leaves, this player comes in, until I figure out exactly where it goes wrong, and then try to debug until like, okay, is this function getting called? Yes, no. And then, okay, why is it not getting called? Okay, is there something I can solve? And it was bizarre what it was, and it's crazy. But once I knew what it was, what the problem was, I could figure it out. But the thing is, I have to focus. Like, I can't just think that I can just fix it by trying different things. Okay? I have to know what the problem is first, and then fix it. So focusing on one task helps. That's the idea. You need your attention on one thing. You can't do multiple things. Now, if you have multiple people, let's say you have 5 people and each one has 5 tasks. Well, there's someone that's the leader that has to keep giving them that person tasks. And so sometimes you have a leader that, oftentimes in game dev, you have the lead developer or the lead someone that has their own task. At the same time, you have to be aware of the other people and their tasks. And that can get a little bit confusing. But that's why I have this focus brain dump. Now, I don't think it's a huge deal. Like, this is, I'm just gonna brainstorm with you guys to show you how I would do it, because I know in the back of my mind it's like, but I have a billion things to do. Okay, so this is how I save time to this to think about list. Okay? These are things that I can do without being in the computer. But when you're in the computer, or as a developer, you need to be obviously in the computer coding, whatever. When you go to do something, a task, you better have something to do, and you better know what you're doing when you sit down. Okay? No wandering, clicking through Netflix or clicking through YouTube videos or playlists, whatever. Like, you're gonna be in the zone. You get in, you do it, you're done, right? And then you step out, you think about the next task or whatever. Okay, so things to think about are things that I can do in the couch. I can do play with my, well, I don't know if play with kids, depends, right? If your family's watching stuff and you can just use a notebook, I technically have, like, I have a notebook right here. I don't know if it'll show in the, so I usually just notebook and pen, and I just kind of write ideas, think about where my game's at, how I can cut scope or meet a deadline for my game, and things like that. And so, for example, one thing, let's say I've seen recently, like a few days ago, developers are like, oh, I don't know if, like, I have new ideas come up all the time. Write them down, like, just put them down and think about it later. But then they're like, oh, I wonder if I should do that idea instead of finishing this game, because I think I overscoped. That they lose interest. And so then they're like, oh, I don't know if I could finish this. I'll finish it eventually. And you just table. And I've seen developers have like 13 games that are tabled and they never finish. They just keep starting new projects all the time. Okay, so what do we do? How can I help you guys? How can I help whoever's watching this, if you're watching, do it right? Because you're like, okay, I'm here, I'm stuck. How can I do it better or faster? The only way I can do it is by showing you. And so I'm going to cut scope drastically on my game. And so my game, I'm going to show you right now what I'm going to do. And in the next few weeks, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to do this. And you're going to see progress. And in a month, you'll see where I'm at. And I'll publish. So this is what I'm going to do. So my initial goal was to go in the meta store, do early access. And that eventually will happen. But there's so much juggling. It's like a 6-month progress, probably. But what I'm going to do differently is I was like, okay, I'm not going to do that. That's too long of a track. I don't have as much time to work on it. And I know I just need to pump out content to verify if this is something that people want. And so what I'm going to do is launch on SideQuest. So this is VR. So SideQuest is like itch.io, almost like it's just, you just publish something and it's side loading it. Okay, and then later you can put like the Steam link or the meta. So my goal is to launch, and when? 1 month. I think I'll put down August 20th. Okay, so it's July 9th, so it's like a month and a half-ish, whatever. But I have a bunch of things that I'm gonna do in July, so July is gonna be busy, but I'm still gonna do it. So I'm gonna pick one task to do. I have 3 spells already. They need polish. So I had the idea that I wanted to do 5 spells first. So that's a stretch goal, but I'm not going to do that. The first thing I'm going to focus on, because I had an idea of 5, 5, 5, 5. So 5 spells, 5 paths, 5 enemies, 5 bosses. So the idea is that you have a central hub in the game. Okay, so in here, let me see. So you have a central hub, and as you can see, we're in a cave, and you're going to try to get out by using spells. So you're going to choose kind of like you're going to choose your spell at the beginning, which one you want. And for now on the side quest, I'm just going to give them all. And you have a path per spell that will unlock. So if you have fire spell and you light the torches, you'll go through. If you have the water spell, there'll be a water mechanism for the gate, the same for the earth spell. So you get to choose. For now, I'm going to let everyone grab one. Eventually, we'll do like a multiplayer thing where if you have an earth spell, you can help others get the earth spell by going through the path. Okay, so that's the idea. So I need the path to make. I need the enemies. I have 1 enemy. And honestly, if let me see, I can do 1 enemy. Like, I can live with publishing something on SideQuest with 1 enemy. I don't even really need an enemy. I can just do the puzzles. But because this is a spell, your magic hunter, we want you to fight. And so in that initial room, you'll have enemies that you'll fight with your spells. And then I wanted to do bosses, but I'm probably not going to do that. But the idea is that I'm going to try to sprint as fast as I can to this, right? And so right now, my number 1 to-do list is fix bugs and make sure it works, right? The next, and then like I could keep going. Like I need make sure it works with on SideQuest. So I have to get rid of all the meta username and stuff and try to do something with like your headset ID or whatever. And the idea is with the SideQuest is a demo. Like it will save your player profile. Maybe I just won't use player profile. I'll just have it be no play file, no backend. and that way people can just play at their own leisure and they can just experience the demo. And if they want to help the game be better, they can join the Discord. So the idea is that the focus is that people experience this for free. There's nothing; it's just a demo. And if they want to join the Discord, they can come and help me out and test the game and go to SideQuest. I mean, to Meta to actually test the game on beta. So the other things that I have to do is the paths, and we can take it down, one thing at a time. So we can do fire path, and then we have the earth path, and then we have the water path. So then we needed like puzzles and stuff, and I've been working on that. Puzzles, art, sound effects, visuals for the spells. We have some, but they need to polish. And that's mainly it. So like for the most part, I can get most of it done by the end. And the idea is that I'm not going to spend time, like for example, doing bosses, unless I'm done with the other stuff. I'm not going to spend time in enemies. The main focus is the path and the puzzles. And then because right now the spells work, I don't need the sound effects. I don't need the visuals. Like I can do that at the last minute, right? Because it's just adding different sound effects. It's just time consuming. I can do that. The main thing is the unknowns, like what does it feel, and getting people's feedback. And this can be done, right? So I have a list of things to do. Anytime I think of something, how do I do this better? Like we could do puzzles for the cave path, ideas for art or wall, because I want to do wall sigils or other things to kind of signify where you're going. So this can brainstorm, right? Like brainstorm ideas or things like that. Enemy types, because if I want to do enemies like enemies that would be simple to fight for like disadvantages or element disadvantage. Oh, the other thing that I gotta do is a door path unlock, and maybe like multiplayer ideas for co-op experience. So the idea of unlocking spells. So the idea is that if others, so I have the earth spell, you have the fire, and someone else has the water, like you can take me through the water path, and I can, by solving the puzzles or the enemies, I can earn the water spell, and you will just earn a reward of some sort, maybe cosmetic or magic coins or whatever. And so the idea is that people can trade off and say, hey, which spell you have, like, can you help me do this or whatever. And so the idea is the co-op experience. I have one spell, you don't have the other, like let's help each other out. And that way people will want to do this together. So those are some of the ideas and things that I can think about while I'm in the couch or while I'm sleeping or eating breakfast, whatever, on the toilet. It doesn't matter. Like, but the main idea is that I have it written down and I have a notebook. And so when I have ideas, I can write them down, or I'm organized with what I have and the information. It's not just random, right? So this is where I can, like, if you have ADHD or ADD or whatever the acronym is, like you have to find ways to organize yourself in a manner that works for you. Find pattern habits that are adjusted to you. And if you need help coming up with ideas on how to do this, that's why I have Endgame Devs as a community to help you. What I do is I specifically help you tailor these tactics, these principles to your game, your lifestyle, your challenges, and how to do it week by week, day by day, and actually get things done. And it's up to you whether you want to follow those things or not. The main thing is this: just focus on one task, and it will save you. Because if, let's say, you need to find out if your game is sellable, well, like focus on one task, like create the task, figure out the things that are more important, and get them tested as soon as possible. Create the MVP. In order to create the MVP, you need to get things done, and you need to get them done fast. And so if you focus on the one thing, you'll be able to get it done. And then when you get it done, you got to decide, like, is this what I need? Is this not what I need? If you need a portfolio piece, if you, whatever it is that you need, it's going to be hard at some point right here. So you need to build habits that will help you keep moving forward regardless of what happened. You need to pivot, right? If you need to do a 180 and pivot the other way, if you need to restart, it's okay. Like, the main thing is that you have a habit and you can keep going, that you focus on the one task. If you have questions, please feel free to comment, and we will see you on Saturday when I'll live stream